In my book, The Science Delusion, I talk about the 10 dogmas of contemporary science. Most of these have been part of science for a long time, some since the 17th century, when modern science as we know it first began. And one of the first steps in the development of modern science was the mechanistic theory of nature, the idea that nature is nothing but a machine, mechanical, purposeless, working in accordance with mathematical laws, and completely unconscious. This is a fundamental assumption of the current materialist and mechanistic worldview, and this is the first of the assumptions I discuss in my book, The Science Delusion. At the end of each chapter in that book, I have 4 questions for materialists. If you're a materialist yourself, or if you have friends who are materialists, these are genuine questions, and they can start discussions or debates, which is what I hope they'll do. And the 2 questions I want to ask now are, is the mechanistic worldview a testable scientific theory or a metaphor? Secondly, if it's a metaphor, why is the machine metaphor better in every respect than the organism metaphor? If it is a scientific theory, how could it be tested or refuted? All traditional societies have treated the world as alive. The earth is a living organism, Mother Earth, Gaia. The stars and the planets are living beings with their own intelligences. Animals and plants are truly alive. The whole universe is a kind of organism. And actually, I think this is a much better metaphor. The Big Bang Theory tells us the universe began very small, less than the size of a head of a pin, and it's been growing and cooling ever since, and as it does so, new structures appear within it. This is much more like a developing organism than a machine. And we're much more like organisms than machines. The mechanistic theory says everything in nature, even ourselves, is essentially mechanical. We are, in Richard Dawkins' phrase, lumbering robots. Well, is this just a metaphor, or is it a scientific theory? And if it's a scientific theory, can it be tested? How would you actually prove it or refute it? And if it's just a metaphor, then why should it be such an important one that dominates all our thinking? It may be useful in some areas, much less useful in others. These are real questions to ask your materialist friends and to ask yourself if you're a materialist.